If you're anxious about money, worried about debt, you're watching your peers and thinking you're behind, it's easy to feel down on yourself. Sometimes it's hard to see the progress you're making with your finances, especially when it feels like you're just keeping your head above water. And you're not alone. According to Ramsey Solutions, the average American debt per US adult is $66,772, and 77% of American households have at least some type of debt. But what if I told you there are subtle signs that show you're actually doing better than you think? Today we're going to go over 11 key signs that prove you're on the right financial track, even if it doesn't feel like it. So let's just get right into it. First off, you're comfortable talking about money. For many people, money is a taboo subject. They avoid talking about it with friends and family. I even had a friend who refused to track their net worth because they didn't want to see what their situation looked like. And many avoid talking about it with their partners. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of our Millionaires React series where we go over a ton of situations where communication around finances between partners is just not there. And that causes severe problems that could potentially lead to divorce, which will cause even larger financial problems. But if you've broken through that barrier and feel comfortable discussing finances, you're already doing something that 62% of Americans find difficult, as you can see in this article. Talking about money can lead to better decision making and helps you understand what's possible. A lot of my best learnings have been from openly talking about investing, side hustles, and financial goals. If you're open to talking about finances with others, it shows that you're confident and ready to get better at money. Number 2, you're managing your debt rather than drowning in it. It's a common myth that having debt means you're bad with money, but that's not necessarily true. There's good debt and bad debt, and if you know the difference, that's an even better sign. Good debt is debt created from assets that actually make you more money, like rental properties. Bad debt hurts your financial situation. If you're constantly getting into more bad debt, especially high interest debt, that's a sign for concern. If you have loans like a mortgage or student debt and you're making payments on time and keeping up with your obligations, that's a huge sign that you're in control of your finances. You're not letting debt define you and you're not ignoring it. Instead, you've created a plan to manage it, and that's a clear indication of financial responsibility. Sure, you might still have a balance, but as long as you're making progress, you're doing well. Number 3, you understand that material possessions don't equate to wealth. One of the biggest signs of financial well-being is that you're no longer trying to signal your wealth to others. You're not focused on flashy cars or luxury watches just to impress people. And when you look at others with those things, you actually get that concept. It's like you took the red pill, from the Matrix, and you now realize that true wealth isn't worn or flaunted. Just because someone has a Lambo or has a large house doesn't mean they're wealthy. It's easy to get caught up in what we see on social media, people just showing off their things. But in fact, those people could be drowning in debt. I mean, I might be a multimillionaire, but I still drive my $6,700 Nissan Sentra I bought used all cash. I have another friend who told me his uncle would tell him that you can never go back in terms of material wealth. Always keep upgrading. I was shocked that people grow up with that mentality. That mentality caused him some trouble and caused him some more debt. But now that he's changed his mindset, he's staying humble and building wealth low key. And he's now in a much better financial state. He's much happier and he's growing his business now, which I'm super happy for. So when you're not trying to impress others and flex all the time, you're honed in on how to actually build wealth. Number 4, you have an emergency fund in place. Having an emergency fund is important as a financial safety net when unexpected expenses come up, like medical bills, car repairs, or job loss. You don't want to have nothing in place because it could cause you to go into more debt if you're not prepared. If you have at least $2,000 saved for emergencies, you're already ahead of more than half of Americans. According to surveys, 57% of people can't cover a $1,000 emergency, so having double that in savings shows you're on the right path. Ideally, you'll want to work towards 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved up, but even having a couple thousand set aside means you're financially prepared for the unexpected. Building an emergency fund is one of the best things you can do for your financial health. It provides peace of mind and a safety net that most people just don't have. Number 5, you think long-term instead of short-term. So another sign that you're doing well financially is having a clear plan for the future. This can mean setting financial goals like saving for retirement, building up your investments, or even paying off your mortgage early. Whatever your goal, the fact that you're planning for the future and making sacrifices today shows that you have maturity and financial foresight. Most people live for the short term. They're buying the latest gadgets and vacations. But if you're thinking ahead, you're setting those goals, and you're making decisions based off your future, that's a huge sign you're in a great financial position. Financial success requires intention. direction and a long-term vision. So if you're regularly reviewing and adjusting your financial goals, that's a clear sign you're in control of your financial future. Number 6, you're meeting your savings and spending goals. So another sign that you're doing well is if you're constantly hitting your savings targets and staying within your spending limits. So that might look like tracking your spending through a budgeting app or even a spreadsheet like I do. The key is that you're being intentional with your money. You have a plan and you stick to it. And when you know exactly how much you need to save each month, you're hitting those numbers, you're setting yourself up for long-term success. A great way to stay organized and keep tracking your net worth and your spending is through the app Empower. Empower automatically integrates with your account so you can always see how well you're doing. I'll link it in the description below if you guys want to try it out. Number 7, you pay your bills on time. Paying your bills on time is a significant sign of financial health. Almost 40% of Americans have trouble covering their basic expenses without taking on debt. So if you're managing to pay your rent, your utilities, and other bills consistently, then you're in a much better financial position than you might realize. Which kind of leads me to number 8, you understand your credit score and you're working to improve it. Your credit score has a huge impact on your financial life. It affects the ability to get a loan on a house. It also affects the interest rate you end up getting. If you not only know your credit score, but you're also actively working to improve it, that's a huge sign of financial maturity. So what does that look like? Having a long credit history, having a good credit mix, and also paying off your bills on time and in full like I mentioned before. Now number 9, you're living below your means. Living below your means is one of the most powerful signs of financial health. It's the difference between just getting by and actually growing your wealth. When you spend less than you earn, you have more to invest, more to save, more flexibility to make choices about your future. The less you need to live on, the easier it is to build a nest egg that will support you for life. If you think about it this way, if you can live on $40,000 a year, then you'll need about $1 million saved according to the 4% rule to retire. But if your lifestyle requires $150,000 a year, you'll need $3.75 million. So as you can see, the lower your expenses, the sooner you're gonna reach financial independence. Number 10, you're not constantly stressing about money. While we all worry about money sometimes, if you're not constantly stressed or losing sleep over your finances, you're probably in a good spot. This means you have enough saved, your income covers your needs, and you're able to handle unexpected expenses without panic. If you can look at your bank account and feel secure instead of anxious, that's a good sign you've built a solid financial foundation. It might not always feel like it, but if you're able to sleep easy knowing you've got your bases covered, you're doing something right. And then lastly, you're watching personal finance videos like this one. I think this is a huge sign because a lot of people find it really daunting. They are worried about their situation. They don't want to look at their net worth. But if you are upping your financial knowledge by watching videos like this, it shows that you're willing to grow and you are ready for abundance, ready for wealth. This shows you're doing a lot better than you think because a lot of Americans are avoiding their own financial situation, blaming others, and not trying to up their knowledge. So always keep investing in yourself, invest in your knowledge, and get better at personal finance. Don't let money take control of you. Make sure you take control of money and feel empowered. So as you can see, financial success isn't always flashy. It's that quiet, steady work of building security and freedom over time. If you see some of these signs in your own life, make sure to give yourself some credit. You're doing better than you think. It's not just about how much you earn, it's about how you manage what you have. If you didn't understand personal finance fundamentals, you could be earning multiple 6 figures and then just blowing it all, getting into huge debt. So focus on living below your means, paying down debt, saving regularly, and making smart decisions for the future. If you guys like this episode, let me know in the comments below which one you resonated with. And if you're looking for more ways to build financial success, check out my other episode on how to retire by 40 step by step. See you guys in the next one.